PJ and Mr. Shahmi, and all of our participants of today's sharing session on information literacy practice, the Monash University Malaysia Library experience. Let us begin our session with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatiha. I'm Yasmin Mastura Mustafa Burns, one of the librarians at Darul Hikmah Library, IIUM Kuantan campus. And first, I would like to share a few housekeeping announcements. So for IIUM staff that are attending the session today, CTD points will be provided. And to get your CTD points, you should confirm your attendance via iAttend. The link will be shared in the chat from time to time. You should also be recorded in the Zoom attendance for a certain duration. We will be monitoring the Zoom attendance, so kindly enter an identifiable name as your Zoom display name. And finally, at the end of the session, you should fill in the evaluation form. And to all participants, the evaluation form will be used to generate your e-certificates, so you should enter your name as you would like it to appear in your certificate. I still hear some music. Okay, I think the music has been turned off. Okay, thank you. So to start this sharing session, it's okay, I'll continue. So this sharing session is the first of 4 in our sharing session on information literacy practice series, where we delve into the academic library's information literacy initiatives and experiences in nurturing an information literate community. In today's session, we'll be learning more about the information literacy practices at the Monash University Malaysia Library. So to begin our session, allow me to invite the head of Darul Hikmah Library, IIUM Kuantan campus, Cik Rashidah Tajurahim, to deliver her welcoming remarks. Please welcome.
Thank you, Yasmin, our MC today. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wa salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to our speaker from Monash University Library, Mr. J and Mr. Shahmi, and to all our participants. On behalf of organizing committee, I'm pleased to welcome all of you to this sharing session on information literacy practice. Thank you for joining us today. As we know, information literacy goes beyond just finding a book. It's about helping users thinking critically and use information wisely, skills that are important not only in university but also in life. The idea to organize this series comes from simple conversation among us library. We were wondering how other library approach information literacy and what method they use and what challenge they face and what new idea we can learn from them. So we thought, why not we learn from other libraries online so more people can join us easily. We invited 4 academic libraries, 2 from public university and 2 from private institution to help us to explore different perspectives and approaches. Alhamdulillah, they kindly agreed to share their experience with us. Special thanks to Mr. J and Mr. Muhammad Shahmi Zulkarnain from Monash University Malaysia Library, our today's speaker, and Mrs. Nur Farawahida Badrusham from Al-Bukhari Library, UiTM Jenker campus, our tomorrow speaker. And in August, inshallah, we have another 2 series, inshallah, from Mr. Razman Shah Muhammad Razali from iiumlibrary and Dr. Zahila Haji Muhammad Noor from Muhammad Kamal Hassan Library IIUM. Without their support, this library will not have been possible. Each speaker will be sharing their information literacy practice, including how they run the session, the tool or system they use, how they collaborate with academic program and the challenges they face and how they manage them and what they plan for the future. Thank you once again for being with us today. Before we begin, we truly hope that today's session and the series as a whole will inspire us to strengthen and enhance our information literacy practices. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. With that, I will now pass the session back to our MC, Yasmin.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Cik Shida, for your welcoming remarks. Now, before I introduce our speakers, I would like to invite all our participants to turn on their cameras for a group photography session. And I'll pass this session over to Ms. Nick Hasmani.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yasmin Mustafa. So I take over for photo session. I think we have around 4 pages. So I count down 1, 2, 3. So everyone can smile. Turn on your camera. Okay. Okay, for page 1. Ready? 1, 2, 3. For page 2. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, page 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last one. Oh, we have 5 pages. Okay. On page 4. Okay, ready? Smile. Hah? Betul lah. Saya tengah ambil gambar. Okay. 1, 2, 3, page 4. Then another one, page 5. Last one. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, that's all. I think I pass the sharing session to Miss Yasmin. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Ms. Nick. Now, continuing on, allow me to introduce our speakers. Our guest speakers for today are Ms. Koo, who goes by TJ, and Mr. Mohammad Shahmi from the Monash University Malaysia Library. So TJ has had experience working with learners of various levels, officially beginning her journey in education with Teach for Malaysia in 2012. She later served as a lecturer at Sunway University for several years before earning an MA in Linguistic Sciences and joining Monash University Malaysia, MUM, as a Learning Skills Advisor. Currently, she is the Senior Manager of Academic Services and Resources at the MUM Library, where she oversees the academic services team in developing and facilitating information literacy initiatives and supporting teaching and learning across campus. So next, Mr. Shahmi is the Manager of Stakeholder Engagement at MUM with nearly 10 years of experience in academic libraries. He began his career as a school teacher with a Bachelor of Education honors in TESOL before moving into roles at Taylor's University and Sunway University as a reference librarian, and he later joined Monash as a liaison librarian. Now, overseeing the academic services team under the supervision of TJ, he supports the development of learning experiences for library users and focuses on postgraduate and researcher support, particularly in research metrics and research intelligence tools. So we're very grateful that you could join us for today and share your experiences. So inshallah, today's session is going to be a very fruitful one for everyone. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Shahmi and Ms. TJ to begin their session. Please welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Yasmin. Let me just share my screen first. This one. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. Thank you to Puan Rashida for that great opening speech, as well as thank you to Ms. Yasmin for that lovely introduction. And to all of you for making time to be with us this morning. I'm Mohammad Shahmi, you can call me Shahmi, and I am co-presenting this presentation with my colleague / supervisor, Ms. Koo, or you can call her TJ. Sorry. So we would like to thank IIUM Library Kuantan for the opportunity to share our experience again. The last time we were invited, it was for a different topic. So we are excited to be back to reconnect and share our insights on our information literacy practices, what lessons that we have learned, as well as what we're planning next. So before I officially begin, like I mentioned, I'll be co-presenting this presentation with TJ. So this presentation will be divided into two parts. I'll be doing the first part of this presentation, and I'll pass it to TJ, and she will do the remainder of the presentation. So for today's session, we'll walk you through our structure, our academic services structure, the different types of information literacy programs we run, the tools and programs that we use, the challenges that we have faced and how we have responded over time, and finally, our strategic direction moving forward. Now, from the previous slide, I did put there like the introduction of the Monash Malaysia Library, but I won't go in depth into the whole structure of the library. But overall, we currently have over 20 plus staff members in Monash University Malaysia Library. This is the combination of our Sunway campus as well as the clinical school in Johor Bahru. So instead, we'll focus on the academic services team, sometimes referred to as the reference team in other institutions, which is the core team in managing information literacy. So as mentioned by Ms. Yasmin, this team is led by TJ, who is the Senior Manager for Academic Services and Resources Unit as a whole, while I, the Manager, manage the day-to-day operations for the Academic Services team. So we have three liaison librarians, also referred to as school librarians, a term that is easier for students and staff to recognize. And Monash Malaysia has 7 academic schools, so each librarian handles about 2 to 3 schools. So you can see on my screen, for example, Aniza Ahmad, she's handling medicine and health sciences, pharmacy and science. Belinda Stamaria, she's handling School of IT and Engineering, while Aini Fatima is supporting School of Business and School of Arts and Social Sciences. Now, even though they're handling multiple schools, as you can see from the assigned schools for each librarian, those schools have their own like correlation or relation to each other, so they're easier for the librarians to manage these schools. We also have Idrin Sofia, a librarian who focuses on instructional and e-learning design. She leads a small creative team of 3 who designs everything from posters, videos, and social media content. So if you go to our social media, Instagram, iium.library, and you see the content that is being posted there, the posters, the promotional work, most of the designs are being done by her and her team. So while the whole library contributes to content creation, for example, e-learning, self-learning modules, all those things, PCN's teams handles the visual designs and development for events, workshops, as well as self-learning materials. So all together, it's the 5 of us. So TJ is on top, then me, and then below me we have the 3 liaison librarians and the designer librarian. So that's our academic services structure. So our information literacy delivery approach is structured across 4 program types, each targeting different set of audience. So let's go for the first one, which is the General Library Workshops, or we like to call it the GLWs. So these are scheduled by the library and open to all Monash students and staff. So what it means is that while we promote some workshops specifically for UGs and PGs, and another will be for PGs and staff. For example, let's say EndNote, we promote it as UGs and PGs. It doesn't mean that staff cannot join in those classes. Anyone from the Monash community can join those classes, even if it's just a refresher. And these workshops are scheduled during the main semester, which is main 2 semesters, which will be in February and July. Next is the unit embedded workshops. So these are custom design sessions requested by academic staff, tailored to the needs of specific course or specific unit. So these are customized to align with learning outcomes, assessment needs like citing and referencing, searching for resources, and a lot more. So some of these workshops are full workshops, meaning that they will attend for like a 1.5 hour workshop or 2 hour workshop. And others can be just tutorials or mini tutorials where students do pre-learning online first and looking at the materials that we have given beforehand and come to class for Q&A and for consultation. Next is the Monash Doctoral Program, or MDP. So this program supports PhD students or graduate research students with advanced training to excel in research and build professional skills. So it prepares graduates for success across like academic, industry, government, and beyond. So this program is not managed by the library, it's managed by another unit called MUMGRO, which is Monash University Malaysia Graduate Research Office. So what they do is they coordinate with departments and the library. For example, they will come to the library or they go to other schools and ask them like what sort of workshops that we can offer to these students, the graduate research students. And they will do the registration and promotion, which I'll explain in a later slide. So these are credit-bearing workshops, meaning when students attend these workshops, they will get credit for the postgraduate researchers. This year, we are running 2 rounds. We have done it in March and April, and the next one will be in September and October. In previous years, we run it up to 3 rounds, depending on the demand and uptake. And lastly is the Library Research Week. This is a newer initiative launched this year. We decided to run this Library Research Week during April and semester break. So the workshops that we have in Library Research Week, we adapted from our MDP workshops, but revised to suit a wider audience because we also want to have staff join in as well. So the MVPs are mainly for PhD students or graduate research students, while Library Research Week, staff are also able to attend. So we promote this Library Research Week very early in the semester to give the PGs enough time to plan their schedules, because as you know, PGs, some might not be full-time. They might have like part-time jobs or they have to come to different cities and stuff. So when we have this 1 week just for these PG workshops, then it will be much easier for them to plan or book their time. And this is a more intensive non-credit. So MDP is credit bearing, while this one is non-credit. It's just quite like a general library workshop series for postgraduates and staff, and scheduled during semester break. And so it doesn't clash with the teaching weeks. So when we talk about the delivery approaches, let's go back to the early days of 2020, which is already like 5 years ago. So during that time, before the pandemic, most of the classes were already done in face-to-face. But during the pandemic, which is the 2020-2022, we adapted quickly to Zoom delivery, of course, like everyone else. And then once we go back to the campus, and if you remember, during the 2021-2022, there was this increase of hybrid model teaching and learning. So we do have to adapt to that. And now, since we are in like back to the normal, I guess, now we use a blended approach depending on the needs. But most of the times of our sessions have returned back to being face-to-face. Sorry. So we still run Zoom-based sessions. If it's for a large cohort, let's say more than 50, 60, 100, or even if we do joint sessions with Monash Australia. For example, the School of Pharmacy often hosts workshops with both campuses, where one unit both the Monash Malaysia students and Australia students can join in. Okay. So for GLWs and for the General Library workshops, Monash Doctoral Program and Learning Library Research Week, the sessions are usually held in our dedicated library training room. Here. Okay. Okay. Library training room and seminar room, which both of these rooms are equipped for hybrid delivery when needed. Whereas for the unit embedded workshops, on the other hand, may be held either in the library or at teaching venues across campus, depending where the academic prefers. So it will be a case where, let's say, a liaison librarian has back-to-back classes and it's in different buildings, then they have to run to another building to go to those classes. I think we all been through that. Let's talk about our library resources for self-study support. Now, for Monash University Malaysia Library, since we are part of the broader Monash University system, because we are under Monash Australia, we benefit from resources developed by Monash Australia, especially Monash Australia Library. For example, the LibGuides. Oh, sorry, this one here. So if you go to our Monash Library website under academic services, you can go to click under self-study support. So self-study support, you can see here, we have the LibGuides. So these are the subject guides. I think everyone is already familiar with LibGuides, but these are being maintained by Monash University Malaysia, Australia, sorry, Monash University Australia. We also have Learn HQ, which is a student academic support portal that provides a variety of resources, guides, and tutorials to help students succeed in their studies and improve their academic performance. Basically, to improve or help in their study skills and academic writing and others that is non-library related. And in parallel to that, to Learn HQ, we also have Teach HQ, which provides educators with guides, modules, information on various learning and teaching approaches, technologies, and academic integrity. So we have one for students and another one for educators or academics. However, during the pandemic, we developed a lot of localized guides and resources to better serve our Malaysian students. I think we can all relate. For example, when we do workshops, we do video recording and then we just upload on our website, or we do a separate video recording and upload on our website. So, and then a lot of PDF guides, a lot of like posters and many more. But as the years go by and the ecosystem of a Monash ecosystem has upgraded and matured, we decided to screen and streamline our content to avoid overlaps. Because if we already have, for example, a very good secondary referencing guide, why do we want to do another guide that is overlapping with already a comprehensive guide that we have? So what we did is that we did our own guides here, localized guides. For example, while both Monash campuses have their search system, how do students access the books or access the articles may differ from each other in terms of the library homepage, in terms of the information shown on the search website. So that's why we decided to do either like a short video here, very short video with captions, no dialogue, just caption, so easier for them to digest and comprehend. We also have PDF guides for them, and instructional module. For example, this one here, a module using articulate rights, which I'll explain a bit more in the later slides. Okay, going back here.
Hold on, Shami, let me jump in really quickly here. So just wanted to mention that a lot of these self-support resources are actually open to the public. So they're not really limited to just Monash community. So if you want to share with your own students, you are very welcome to. We develop them to kind of help students everywhere in their academic studies. So anything you click in, if it's viewable, then it's available. Especially like Learn HQ, you know, things developed by Australia, it's open to the general public. So you have very useful tips on presentation, writing skills, just general academic skills. All right, that's all. Back to you, Shami.
All right, thank you, TJ. All right. So one notable development in our in development of just creating self-learning support is that we created this information and digital literacy bite-sized module, which is a self-paced 6-part module developed with articulate storyline and beyond. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of storyline or beyond. So this idea was inspired by a visit when we go to some of the libraries in Singapore 3 years ago. I still can't believe it's already 3 years ago. They had all of these accessible, easy to access information literacy training modules, and we wanted to create something similar for our undergraduates. But even though we say it's for undergraduates, other students can also, like PG students can also, or staff can also use that to promote or share to their students as well. So it was a collaborative effort. Content and quizzes were developed by the academic services team and our library director, Namita Santra, while the visual content and the storyline and quiz elements using article storyline were designed by Iswin Sofia. I think TJ will share more on how this was also a solution to some of the challenges that we face in reaching the students effectively. So that's why we created this information bite-sized module. Okay, next. Okay, regarding topic development and team expertise. So as you can see on the screen, we have based on 3 factors: librarians' expertise, teams' learning of new tools, as well as student and academic feedback. So our librarians bring different strengths to the table. For example, one may be skilled in data fluency topics, while another might focus on systematic reviews. So based on their expertise, we decided to create some workshops based on those expertise. We continuously learn new tools and adjust based on student academic feedback. So for example, I think like last year or 2 years ago, we originally ran workshops on Mendeley, but after multiple requests and feedback from users, we realized that Zotero was more commonly used by other users, as well as I want to say easier to use, but yeah, in a way, because it's also linked to Google Doc. And so we pivoted and developed a full Zotero session. So now we do have sessions for EndNote and Zotero. So based on those student and academic feedback. We also practice a co-facilitation model, where everyone supports each other, especially due to our small team. So as you remember, we only have 3 liaison librarian, including also me as a TJ. Me and TJ also conduct classes. We do shadow one another as part of this co-facilitation model. For example, I often shadow Aniza Ahmad, which I showed you just now, who handles School of Pharmacy, Medicine and Science. She is the main person for systematic review sessions. So let's say if she is unavailable and someone wants to do like a consultation or a mini workshop for systematic review, so I will be on hand to manage those sort of sessions. And it will be vice versa, because my main topic for like teaching will be research metrics, and my backup will be Anissa Ahmad. So if I'm not around or she's unavailable, so she will continue with that. So this ensures continuity and coverage, so that our knowledge is shared with each other. Hi, how's the attendance rate of your JWs? Oh, that's a 1 million question there. Because I think well, TJ will talk about that in a bit, but I think briefly we can say that since it's not compulsory, then I think you can imagine the number of students because it's not compulsory. Okay, TJ will talk more about that later. So we also conduct peer sharing sessions before launching new workshops, or when a team member is about to teach a session that they haven't done before. For example, I joined Monash in 2020, and I did a lot of peer-to-peer sessions for all the workshops that I have to do. For example, for research metrics, information skills, and unfortunately, all those peer-to-peer was online, not face-to-face. So, but it's good because we get feedback from our colleagues, as well as to be familiar with not only the content, but also the timing. Because if you say you have like two hours or 1.5 hours, you do want to make sure that you're doing presenting your content within that time limit, or giving like a grace period of 5 minutes before and after. So from all of this, for the topic development and team expertise, this allows us to, again, train across areas, so maintain continuity and ensure content is always, and then like there's also annual content review to ensure relevance, meaning that we always check whether, like, for example, the search system that we have here is updated and there are any changes. I think like in 14 July, we're going to have like a major change to one of our system. So that one we also have to change later. And then, just to make sure that everything is up to date and everyone is familiar with that. So it just to maintain continuity and ensure it's always up to date through regular peer reviews and regular meetups. We have another question here. Okay, thank you, DJ. Okay, so let's go. Okay, sorry. So let's go to our topic and categories. So our workshop, we offer a wide range of topics under the core categories. So we have the academic skills, information skills, scholarly communications. This one is research metrics we already have been doing research metrics, but something new is dimension cyber, which teacher will explain more. So this is the category of research intelligence tools, data fluency, and software and tools. So by looking at these topics, you might realize that some of the topics are mainly geared towards postgraduates, but we also ensure that our content is relevant to undergraduates. For example, the information set skills, advanced literature search, citing and referencing are very much applicable and useful for them, especially in the early stages of their academic journey. It's just that we just don't want to have multiple things for undergrads, but for PGs, we do have a lot more. So all of these topics are listed on this website, on our website here. So if you go to our library website, under academic services, under library workshops, okay. So if a lecturer wants to request for a class, they can go to our website and look at the list of workshops. Or if a student wants to know about a consultation regarding this topic, they will look at the topic first and see what the topics that we offer for consultations or workshops. Thank you, TJ. Okay. So as of now, these are the only topics that we are offering. This has gone through a lot of updates, refresher, and all those things. It might add later on once everything settles. But for now, if someone asks for like a different topic that is non-library related, that will be under consideration. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Okay, talking about registration, at the moment, we do not have a centralized booking system. So our registration methods are different depending on the program type. So for example, for general library workshops and library research week, we use Google Forms, and then they can access via our library websites. So for example, for general library workshops, we have 4 single forms for each workshop. So if we have like 4 general library workshops, we have 4 registration forms. While learning for the library research week, we have like a combined form with multiple workshops in the form that they can choose for the preferred sessions, because this works better as more flexible for the PGs or staff, because they may want to only attend 1 or 2. We don't want to force them to join for all the sessions. They can join for all the sessions, but maybe some staff, they just want to join for publishing strategies or copyright and not for the others, because they may have attended for the previous sessions. For the Monash doctoral program, students register through the My Development platform. So My Development platform is the Monash University's online system for managing professional development activities. So it allows staff and students to browse, register, and track their participation in various training courses, workshops, and seminars. So this is managed by MUMGRO, Monash University Malaysia Graduate Research Office. So this is not being done by library. So what the library is doing is just giving them the workshops that we offer. For example, let's say copyright or publishing strategies and all those. And then they will put it in My Development for the participants to register. Because also they have to go through Monash University Australia to get the workshops approved under My Development. Sorry. And we don't do any promotion for the Monash Doctor program, because in the Monash in the My Development, there's a calendar, and the students can choose the workshop under the calendar. So we don't have to do any promotion. And for the unit embedded sessions, arrangements are made directly with the academics or the school coordinator. So anything regarding the session timing and location will be done by them, and the availability of the liaison librarians. And this can also be co-facilitated with Monash Australia librarians if needed. I think School of Business or School of Business and School of Pharmacy have done joint workshops with each other or Zoom sessions. Okay, let's see here. Okay, thank you, DJ. Okay, so let's talk about the tools and platforms that we use for our information literacy delivery. So we use a combination of all of this, the presentation tools, online modules, video content, and the support material. So of course, for presentation, we normally use Google Slides. I think most of you also use the other one, which is the Microsoft PowerPoint, but I personally prefer to use Google Slides because, as you can see from my screen, I like to put it as presenter view, but also have the freedom or flexibility of jumping back and forth to other tabs. For example, if I'm teaching about searching for resources, then I can just go to the next tab and show just type in everything rather than to click escape and go to the other tab and then go back to the full screen. I think this is much easier for me to do the presentation. We also have...
Just jumping in really quickly, I'm sorry. For the presentation, I think we also like to work on Google Live documents like Google Docs and Google Slides because we do a lot of collaborative work. So like, for example, in this presentation where both Shami and myself are presenting, so we can work on the slides together online instead of, going through a PowerPoint slide and then sharing through email to do edits. So that's the other reason why we like working on Google Live Docs.
Yeah, especially you can just give comments.
Yes.
Live comments on the slides or docs and Excels. Okay, we also have we also use interactive sites like Kahoot, Socrative, and Poll Everywhere to add engagement. I think, okay, I have like 2 more slides. I think after my next 2 slides, then I can go through the questions. Okay, let me just go through this first. So we have presentation for Google Slides and then interactive sites like Kahoot, Socrative, and Poll Everywhere. Next, for online modules, as I showed you just now, we use Articulate because it's cloud-based and it's online. So it's easier for us to create something that transfer the content into this module and create this module. What else here? And we also use Articulate Storyline. So Articulate Storyline is good. We use it when we use for this information literacy module. So if you click here, I don't know if I share with the sound, but okay, let's see if we start. So this is the module that we have. We have we do have like the main video. So these videos are created using Beyond by our librarian, Leslie Sophia. And then we have the check your learning. So every video, every topic will have a quiz for the topics. So these are done using Articulate Storyline. It's good, but you have to work from scratch, meaning that you do have to have a little bit of like knowledge on how to use storyline and editing, make sure like the transition and all those things. As I mentioned, Beyond Animations, Canva, that's what our video content. So we normally will just use Beyond and Canva. And for support material, we rely on LearnHQ, Monash University Guides, and self-learning content created by our team. So if we want to share our content, if you want to share regarding like academic writing, academic skills, then we will just direct the students to LearnHQ or the subject guides. So these tools allow us to build a variation of a lot of and engaging content to suit different learner preferences. And then after all the classes are done, then we do the feedback and tracking. So for feedback, of course, it plays a huge role in shaping how we deliver and improve our content. So we collect the feedback using Google Forms, similar to how we did for registration. We use Google Form. So whether it's a general library workshop, Monash doctoral program session, or embedded workshop, all of these are being tracked using Google Form. So for general library workshops, in terms of analyzing, we have our own data analyst librarian, Ili, who helps us to collect and analyze the feedback for GLWs, which is every semester, which is for February, July, and also for October. We do have another intake, which is October. And for MDP, we call it each round. So for March and April, and September and October. So she will do all the analyzing. So what we use those insights is to adjust session content, to track topic trends, and to justify changes to delivery methods. For example, let's say for adjust session content, let's say the sessions, we get comments that the session can be too draggy or it's not beginner friendly. So based on those comments, then we will adjust our content. Track topic trends. Some may comment, for example, they want the library to this particular session. They want this library to, when they do searching, to talk about this topic. So then if the topic is very we get a number of requests for those topic, then we can consider to do those type of topics. And justify changes to delivery methods because we also track on how do they want the session to be delivered. For example, do you want it as face-to-face, online, self-paced learning, online module? I'll give example. One workshop that I used to do, which is creating Google Scholar profile and ORCID, which is a 1-hour workshop. It's a good workshop, but due to the request, and then by looking at the content, then we decided to make it as more like a self-paced learning rather than to have like actual full workshop. But we did revise the content. We changed the title into something different called raising or building your profile. I can't remember the title now, but it's quite similar. It has elements of that previous workshop, but it just changed to something more relevant, something more informative rather than just step by step how to create your Google Scholar profile or create your ORCID profile, which there's more meat in that workshop rather than just bones. Okay, so this helps us to have like internal reports, and then we can go back and see what we can adjust to make it better. Okay, that's all for my part. So before I jump in, let me see for the chat. So do you collect feedback from academic focused unit embedded workshop? So as I mentioned just now, so any classes that we conduct, either GLWs, MDPs, or unit embedded workshops, we do have our own dedicated feedback form.
I think this question, are you asking whether we ask the academics for feedback? Because the students who attend the classes, we definitely collect feedback. But academics in general, I think the liaison librarians might talk to them more casually and say like, so what do you think about the classes? Is there any changes you would request for the next time we run this session? Is that what you're asking?
I think yes, academics,
yeah.
He's asking for academics. So thank you, TJ, for clarifying that. But yeah, like TJ mentioned, because we do always ask the librarians if, let's say, if it's a new class or they want to get more input, go to the academics, ask for feedback. Any formal form for them? No, we just ask the librarians to reach out to the academics. Am I right, TJ?
Yeah, we don't have a formal form because we want to build that kind of rapport. And when the liaison librarians reach out to academics to do classes anyway, they tend to talk through email. So yeah, I think we have collected some feedback sometimes through email and just talking to them. Yeah.
And I think I think I'll answer the last one before I pass it to TJ. How is the feedback so far, and how frequent often do you conduct these literacy sessions? So for the feedback, I think by looking at the last semester, it's quite positive. But of course, like there are some like less dissatisfied and everything. But overall, I think our feedback has been quite positive. Am I right, TJ?
Yeah, I think 90% satisfied or very satisfied. Yeah. In general.
And in terms of how many times what's the question? How often do you conduct the literacy sessions for GLWs for every semester, the main semesters for February and July? So if you go to our library website under schedule workshops, so academic services, schedule workshops, then you can see which are the GLWs that we promote during the semester. So for example, these are all for semester 2. And these are the sessions that we conduct for GLWs. MVP will be in a different page, but that one is also about like 9 topics. 8 to 9 topics. That one is done 2 rounds, so 18 times. Quite a lot.
We used to offer GLWs more often, but then we found that the attendance wasn't great. Sometimes they're too close together and students don't really sign up. what tends to work better is if the liaison librarians reach out to academics, and then you have an embedded class, specifically tailored to a particular cohort of students for literacy. I think that has proven to be better attended, right, Shami?
Yes. Okay, and then okay, do you want to continue, TJ? Or
Yeah, let
we'll
me just see which other questions we want to touch on, like the ones that are not covered in the slides. I think there was a question on, do we conduct classes to students with disabilities? We don't specifically have a class that target students with disabilities, but I think our classes in general are quite inclusive. So if any students with disabilities do come in, like the classes can accommodate them.
Okay, I think this one
yeah.
is at here, is it? How does Monash University promote its information literacy classes to students, especially those who may not realize its importance?
I think that one we'll cover in promotion later,
Yeah,
so I'll
okay.
address that. Okay, so before I have a follow-up question, I think, how do you assess students' learning outcome after the unit embedded? So we don't really assess, but I guess the academics are free to tell us whether or not something is not working, if there's any lack in the classes. Yeah, because the literacy, our part is just the literacy part, so we can't really assess their unit session. Yeah. They want a picture of the data analyst librarian.
Move on.
Yeah, okay. So academic style of feedback, input. Okay. Right. Okay.
Maybe it's not picture, but PIC, maybe person in charge. Or yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, person in charge. We only have one data analyst librarian right now. We can share at the end. Okay, so I'm going to put that question to the end of the session. Remind us if we don't touch on that. Okay. I think that's most of it. Did you already answered Atika's question, or not, Shami?
It's one, do you have a targeted number of students or workshops? Do you have a targeted number of students? Any number of students?
Yeah, we welcome. Usually our sessions are not fully packed. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll move on. Shami, can you go back to the slides? So I will just let you share. All right, so I'm going to take over for the second half. So some of these challenges Shami has already touched on previously, but I'm just going to recap again. So we tend to have low attendance in the general library workshop. So this varies from workshop to workshop. So certain workshops, sometimes you just suddenly have an influx. Like for example, there was one that we promoted to the School of Pharmacy saying, oh, we have a EndNote workshop coming up. And then because the academic highly promoted it to the students, we then had like the whole group coming in, and you had like 20 plus students coming in for that EndNote workshop. But in general, I think on average, we tend to have about less than 10 students coming in for general library workshops. But yeah, so if it's embedded, it tends to do better. And if it's a so once we cut down the number of workshops as well, that also helped, because then it's not so packed. Students say, okay, I only have this one chance or two chances to come in for the workshop. Yeah, that's a very common issue, correct? So then we also have a discrepancy between interest and actual participation. So we always try to address what students are interested in. So we run surveys, we talk to students and ask them, what topics are you interested in right now? So quite recently at the start of the year, we did a survey asking students what are they interested in, and they said they are interested in AI. Obviously, that's the trending topic right now. So we actually developed a undergraduate introductory workshop to AI, introducing the general terminology, what things to know, things to be careful about when using AI. And then when we actually ran the workshops, nobody turned up. So that was a bit unfortunate. We are maybe thinking of trying to run it again later in the semester in this year, right, to see whether or not there's any uptake. Maybe the time just didn't match up. But, it's hard to tell with students sometimes why they don't show up, especially here where they have already indicated an interest to come for the workshops. Yeah, so we always try to remain relevant with evolving student needs. Sometimes it's just a lot of trial and error. You try something, if it doesn't work, you try another mode. Sometimes we have also experimented with doing online workshops versus face-to-face workshops. We've actually added a question into our feedback forms to ask, after attending this workshop, do you think it would be better run as a face-to-face, or do you think it's better run as a virtual workshop? And then we take that into consideration when we plan our next round of workshops, for example. Okay, next slide, please, Shami. Okay, so to address the challenges, so promotion strategy. So many of you were interested in how we promote. So there is this platform called Workplace that we use in Monash. It's basically office Facebook, right? So only staff have access to this platform. So anything that we are targeting towards staff, we will promote definitely on Workplace. This is not a foolproof method because sometimes with the turnover of posts on Workplace, sometimes staff do miss it. So if there are other groups that we know that would be particularly interested in a particular workshop, we would then send emails to maybe the school directly. So if it's a School of Science workshop, for example, right, we would then send to the school office to then share with the academics. So emails. We also have a monthly newsletter that goes out. Shami checks in with, I think Belinda is handling that right now. So then she will create the newsletter, and then we will blast it out to the academics every month with key things that are happening that month, key events, key workshops, and encourage them to promote with their students or to come in themselves. We also have digital signages in the library where we have a running series of advertisements and like informational infographics going on. So those are designed by Sophia's team, like Shami mentioned earlier. And we of course also have an Instagram that we recently launched this year that has been doing much better than we actually expected. We have had quite a number of followers signing up. Okay, so those are our main promotional strategies for staff. Of course, Workplace is only for staff. Newsletters, Instagram works more for, newsletter is also staff. Instagram works for the students, and digital signage is for people who actually enter the library because it's a physical space thing. We also do send student broadcasts for particularly important items, and that goes directly to the emails of undergrad students or postgrad students respectively, depending on who we are targeting. For undergrads, we have developed the information and digital literacy module like Shami showed earlier because we know that this is a need that's coming up nowadays, right? People need to try and figure out what is, there's so much information, so they need to learn how to evaluate information in a digital form. We use short animated videos beyond because students have reacted well to videos. And then of course there are those quizzes on storyline. Yeah, so all this Shami has already covered, so I'm not going to go into it too much. So the library research week that Shami mentioned earlier was because we wanted to collect all the classes relevant to researchers in 1 week to make it easier for them to plan their schedule. So previously those were run as GLWs, but meaning they're spread out across several months. So we were trying it out this year to see whether it works if we collect them all and run them intensively in 1 week. So the postgrad students can then just plan it into their calendar. And it seems to work quite well for the first semester. So we're running another round next month. Yeah, you have not mistaken. Okay, let me see. I think a question that is relevant now, which is most effective? Effective strategies. So far, I think the Instagram has been working pretty well. Broadcast emails, I think, don't work as well because students are just inundated with emails. And of course, talking to them face-to-face, personally, or if their lecturers promote it to the students, that tends to work pretty well as well. Okay, Shami, next slide, please. Okay, so student needs. Researchers have shown interest in grants and metrics. So we developed dimensions at Cyber. Particularly, actually, Shami was leading this. So he does run a lot of workshops related to grants, metrics, and research intelligence as well. So we have Web of Science, Scopus classes as well. And systematic review, although traditionally it's run for STEM, science, medicine, right? Because we started seeing a need being an increasing need for social sciences counterpart for systematic review, we also developed that. Aniza is the one that is mostly running that. Shami, do you have something to add? Yeah.
Just to clarify also in terms of the grants, we don't actually teach them how to apply or how to get grants and everything. So for dimensions and cyber, these research intelligence tools, they just showcase or highlights the particular articles or research that has these grants that researchers are interested in. So for example, in dimensions, they search for a topic, let's say dengue in Malaysia, and then they want to see, like, for example, their own
Who is doing research there?
who
They
is
can
doing
look for
research there, yes.
collaborators. Yeah.
And the past grants, the current grants, and not only grants, but also like policy documents and many more. So that's why for this year, I think we started last year, this new workshops of research intelligence tools for dimensions and cyber.
Yeah, because I think the researchers want to know who are the funding bodies, who are the main players in a particular field, right? So this is all just research intelligence. We're giving them the information, we're providing them intelligence to then make their decisions, right? But the actual grant writing workshops are actually run by another unit in Monash called the REU, Research Excellence Unit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, next slide. All right, so strategic alignment. So the library in Monash, right, we are always evolving, based on the needs of the students. So previously, we actually used to have learning skill advisors. That's what I joined Monash as a learning skill advisor. And we used to provide academic writing skills, soft skills like presentation. But when Australia pivoted away from that model, focusing more on research and information literacy, we also follow suit. So now that service no longer sits within the library, so we don't cover academic writing and those soft skills anymore. This service has been replaced by Learn HQ that Shami has already mentioned previously, and Studiosity. So Studiosity is another service that we subscribe to. It's a 24/7, students can live chat or connect with somebody online to ask for help on these soft skills. So then this leaves us free, as a library to reinforce our focus on research and information literacy. And it has been working, I think, not bad so far. So we're trying to see, of course, there's no right or wrong answer, when it comes to all this. We have to see how things go, and there's always shifting things. But other than that, we have also reinvented the physical library as a neutral, welcoming, adaptive learning space, right? Nowadays, our collections are mostly online. We are an e-preferred library, so the number of physical books, our physical collection is definitely decreasing, and we have been focusing more on making the space comfortable for students to come in and study for whatever informational needs they need. This is also in alignment with Libraries for Belonging. There's a link here. This is an article actually written by Kay Sullivan, our Director of Operations and Management Services. Thank you, Shami. So she presented this paper at IATO, talking about how the library is a space to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion. So if you're interested, you can always check out this paper and the speaker notes later on. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so now new and future directions. After this, like I mentioned, we are still thinking about AI. AI workshops for undergraduates. So this is going to be very basic because in general, I think AI shouldn't be encouraged too much for undergraduates before they learn the basic skills. You need to know how to do something on your own first before throwing everything to the AI, right? But the world they live in, they are already going to be exposed to AI. So we are trying to raise awareness about what is ethical usage of AI, mostly for undergrads. But we'll have to see about the uptake for the workshops. For postgrads, the team right now is developing advanced tools, very focused workshops on like tools like Scopus AI, Elicit, Undermine, things like that. So it's going to be more focused to the needs of postgraduates and researchers. And then beyond our core topics, so these are workshops that the librarians can't deliver because we don't actually have the content knowledge. So, but we do see an increased demand for Python, R, coding languages, right? Data mining, text mining among the researchers. So what Shami has done, the team has done, is actually reach out to the researchers within Monash, the collective community, and ask whether anybody in the community is interested in running these workshops. And then the library becomes like a hub, like a host. We help host and coordinate the logistics for the workshops, and then invite these Monash researchers in to run the workshops. Okay, yes, Shami is answering Adeline's question about the framework policy of AI use. So if you just Google AI Monash, I think you should easily be able to get this page. There are quite a number of pages that have been developed within the Monash website network covering AI usage.
Sorry, DJ, I forgot I'm sharing the screen.
No worries. Okay, so okay, yeah. So the new model, right, we're going is where academics run the workshops, where the library hosts and promotes as a logistics and do the logistics. So this opens up new engagement channels. It's been going pretty well so far. So Python is running in July. I think earlier when Shami showed that page of upcoming workshops, you all probably saw the Python workshop. And then there's a number coming up still. Shami, is it already on the schedule already at the R and others?
No, because we're still getting confirmation from
we're still negotiating. Okay,
Yep.
confirmation. Yeah, but we do have a few other workshops lined up already. The academics have been very enthusiastic, so we are very happy to help facilitate that. Okay, back to the slides, please, Shami.
Right, yes. Okay, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so just to cap up, lessons learned. So Shami mentioned the co-facilitation model where we try to have two liaison librarians or two facilitators in a room at one time, because this helps not just for support during a workshop and like a co-facilitator, it is also good for operational sustainability. So like Shami mentioned, if anybody falls sick, somebody else can step in. If the primary expert is not around, at least we have somebody else ready to provide some help. To what extent depends. Sometimes if certain things are beyond our expertise, we can always tell the students, hold your questions, we'll come back to you later, once the primary expert has returned. Ongoing feedback loop. So yes, we are constantly collecting feedback. We are always trying to reach out to academics, talk to them on a personal level to try and see what else we can do better. So even recently, we've run surveys with the graduate, postgraduate. So we have a group of students called graduate, postgraduates in Monash that are students who are doing their postgraduate by coursework. So they don't really do research. And then we also have the research students. So we have run separate surveys for them to try and see what services would better suit their needs. Is there anything they feel that we are lacking, right? So it's constant feedback loop. I'm sure that you're all familiar with that as well, getting feedback and then re-evaluating your services. And we have adopted a lot of digital tools. Shami has kind of showed you the range of tools that we've been using so that we can make things scalable, and see how we can make things sustainable in the long run and whether they are shareable. And we love collaboration. So we collaborate a lot with Monash Australia as our as a satellite university of Monash, but we also try and collaborate with local unis. And also internally as well. So like the example of the workshop with Python and R, like that I mentioned earlier. Okay, next slide. I think we're almost at the end. The last slide is, okay, yeah. So that's the conclusion. Yes, this is our last slide. So again, our approach is iterative and learner-centered. We always try to see what the learner wants and pivot accordingly. So we try to also balance innovation with practical limitations. Sometimes you can innovate all you want, but if it's not practical, you have to reevaluate to see what is doable and what's not. And of course, we are always open to collaboration. So if anybody here wants to collaborate, feel free to reach out to us. We can always have a discussion. Okay, so let me look at the questions now and see whether there's anything that we can answer. Link kehadiran, I think, is for IIUM to answer, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Was the content on the AI website created by librarians? I don't think so, Shami, right? The AI website, some might be, but I think it's more likely eSolutions.
eSolution as well as I think there's a team there, but I can't remember during the early days. But
yeah, there was an AI task force team, but I don't think they really did that. Sorry, can't really answer that, Atika. Like we're not sure who precisely developed the website.
But what I remembered the earlier talks with one of the person that I was contact in Australia, Katrina, that the Monash Australia Library did had some input in terms of like making sure what kind of AI policies things should be put in the policy. Yeah.
Probably the part where how do you cite AI, I think they probably got a lot of librarian input for that as well. What kind of collaboration Monash did with other higher institution Malaysia? I think Shami, you can answer that better. We conducted workshops for Sunway, I think at once.
Have we?
Work in progress.
Work in progress, yes, work in progress.
End of this year, I think we plan to do something, but we will have to see. Yeah.
I think normally we usually will do collaboration with Sunway University. And then we did a lot of like benchmarking to other universities as well. I think like I mentioned previously, we did with Singapore. I think last year the team, the library management team went to Thailand.
Yeah.
In Malaysia specifically, I think we just did benchmarking in like
Yeah, a lot of our collaboration now tends to be Australia first, and then internally. So we haven't tapped out that yet, but we are definitely very open to further collaborations. So do reach out.
Yep.
Okay, I think that was all for the presentation. Any more questions?
Okay.
IL sessions. How can librarians see progress in using library resources effectively? I don't think we have a particular. I think measuring impact has always been a challenge, I think, for most libraries. The only way we can see right now that maybe students are adapting better is that the number of queries that come in is less. Like we've created a lot of guides, right? A lot of what here we call tier 0, where students don't need to come in to talk to a librarian. They can just go online, the website, we have information there for students to refer to. And then if they still can't figure it out, usually they will reach out to us either by coming directly to the counter, sending an email, or we have a library help desk where they submit a ticket. So we actually have seen quite a drastic drop in the number of queries coming in. So the only way we can see is like, if there's no queries coming in, they must be doing fine. You know, that other than that, we don't really we can't really track their progress in using library resources. Yeah.
And also one of the reasons why our queries are dropping is because what DJ has mentioned, we used to have the learning skill advisors, and those topics are usually the main inquiries that always come to the library. Since we don't have those topics anymore, so that's why the inquiries are dropping.
But we are able to track the usage of Studiosity. So I mentioned Studiosity earlier. Even though Studiosity is not really library run, but we do have access to the backend reports to see what students are asking in the system and how much usage there is. It's students do use it. So because we are in charge of promoting the Studiosity service, and the usage is on track with what we expect. Middle of the year, they use about 50%. So that's about right.
Any more questions? Yeah.
All right. So Ms. TJ and Mr. Shami have reached the end of your presentation. So are there any other questions that our participants would like to ask? Thank you very much, Ms. TJ and Mr. Shami, for the very informative session.
The link to Vion. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think if you just Google Vion,
I think.
I can pull it up, but see.
You can just.
Yeah, so Vion is a service that you have to subscribe to, but I think you do have like a free trial period. It's just that once the free trial period ends, if you don't subscribe, you lose access to edit your videos. You can still view them, but I think you can't access them anymore. So yeah, that's Vion. Somebody was asking for the information for data analyst earlier also, right? So let me I think I can plug in the information into the chat.
Yep, sure.
Let me see. Open up our library page.
Can you explain a bit on the accredited program MDP? What do you want to know more about it? Because like I mentioned, it's not really managed by the library. It's managed by the unit, the Malaysia University Malaysia Graduate Research Office. So if you do have like a specific thing you want us to explain, you can let us know. So basically, students, like I mentioned, the session conducted by lecturers from different schools and also us, the librarians.
Yeah,
and
so
teachers.
the NDP program, right, is basically a suite of workshops that
Yep.
students can freely choose. So there's like an offering, right? So these are like all the NDP workshops, and then students can pick and choose to build their own portfolio, you can say, right? Like how many credit hours they have a certain number of credit hours they need to hit, and it's up to them what workshops they want to take. And the workshops are offered by the different units across campus. So maybe School of Medicine might have a few NDP workshops. The School of Science might have a few, and then the library we also have a few. So the ones we have right now is research metrics, predatory publishing, right, Shami? Yeah.
Research metrics, predatory publishing, copyright. We also have the data fluency workshops, for example, data. I think this around we're doing SQL. What else?
So
Yeah,
we
but
also,
we are.
yeah, sorry, continue.
No. So like TG mentioned, like schools have their own topics, and some of the topics school specific, or for example, like academic writing for thesis or all those things that we don't provide. For us, we are just library related stuff. And
So we,
as far as I know, the credit that they have to reach is 120 hours.
for
Like
NDP alone is 120, is it?
Yes, from the website that I checked.
Okay.
So
So
that's
we
why it's
offer the
very
workshops, and then the students can pick and choose. And the NDP attendance is pretty good because since they get credit, they also have to be there for certain hours. You know, like I think this session, Yasmin was mentioning earlier, you have to be here for a certain number of hours to get the credit, and it's actually tracked quite carefully.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think there's one question for Beyond. Did you subscribe to it, or is it a free platform? If it's a subscription, was the fee paid using the library budget?
It is a subscription, so it's not free. You can test it for free. There's a trial period, but after the trial period ends, if you do not subscribe, you will still have whatever videos you created will still be available, but you can no longer edit it. In the back end, you cannot go there and edit it anymore. The subscription is paid from the library budget. Yes, so we budget for it every year.
Thank you for the question. Let's see, we don't have any other questions here.
Yes. This is the collaborative workshops that Shami mentioned. Maybe you can go back to the slide, Shami, the collaborative workshops one. So you can show Ms. Ho so here, the one that expanding beyond core topics. So these are topics that the librarians don't deliver. So we get academics or researchers to come in and deliver. So these are actually Monash academics and researchers that are working together with the library to deliver these workshops. So the library does the promotion, the venue, hosting and everything, and collection of feedback and things like that. The lecturers, the academics just come in to run the workshops.
I can find the video inside the Monash Library website. Can you show one more time? Okay, so for the resources that we have used using Beyond, what we have is from this information and digital literacy website module where we have created the video using Beyond, but then we inserted in the articulate storyline. So that's the usage of Beyond that we have used for this. In terms of videos, if we go back to the self-study support, here, mainly these videos are used using Canva because it's easier to because it's all screenshots. There's no like animation. It's very short, all screenshots, and it's easier for not only for us but also for the creative team. If let's say is anything they want to update, then they don't have to adjust any of the animations. They can just use the video recording of the screens. So, but we do have a few ideas of using Beyond because, like TJ has mentioned, we recently launched the Instagram this year. So we want to utilize that by having more like animations, more videos to engage the students. TJ, go on.
No, I think if they want to see more examples of Beyond videos that we have, our orientation video is still on YouTube, right?
Yes. So okay. So we do also have we use Google Sites as well in other than the Google Slides or Articulate Rise and Articulate Storyline. So our usage of Google Sites is for library orientation. So we have library orientation for undergraduates, postgraduates, and also staff onboarding. Yeah. So here, because we used to have library briefings for orientation, but now I think the idea of having orientation is having students to wander around, explore, and then to have them sit in the hall and listen to the facilitators. They want the students to explore on their own. So that's why we created this Google site where they just go and they just look at all the information we have given here. So for example, Aini Fatima, the one is handling School of Arts and Social Sciences and Business, she has done a good job in creating this video, a very short video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if in terms of like what videos that we use for Beyond, so this is one of it. Yeah. So I'm not going to play everything, but yeah, all the content will be here. If you want to see this, you can actually go to our homepage. I believe it's under library. It's not library. It's, I think library virtual tour. Sorry, library virtual tour. And there are links for not only for the undergraduates but also for the postgraduates. And you can also go through the virtual tour here as well. Yep. So that's for the Beyond video. Let's see what are the questions that we have.
Okay, Miss Ho has a follow-up question. Elaborate on the academic run. Okay, academic run as in they come in and they run the workshop. So we are
Conduct
just
process,
yeah, they conduct the entire workshop pretty much. Even facilitators, if they need co-facilitators, they get their own co-facilitators because we don't have the content knowledge. But we support in terms of making sure the space is suitable. If they want hybrid, let's say we'll set things up for them. You know, if they need whiteboards, they need markers, we'll get all those things ready. And we do the promotion on Workplace, on Instagram, wherever. And we also collect the feedback and we also handle registration.
Yeah, like for example, we did the we did the Python workshop in April, and yeah, we did for the registration, promotion, and collect the feedback, and we did post discussion with the lecturers because they want to do like a second session. So based on those feedback, we say like, okay, these are the things that maybe you want to change, maybe you want to adjust for the next group rather than to just stick with the content that you have right now. So make it more beginner friendly and a lot more. So the academic will conduct the workshops. For us, the wording is that we host whatever they are doing. Yeah, that's the library's job in terms of the collaboration workshops.
Okay, so Razif, what is the key point highlighted by users? Can you clarify the question? I'm not really sure what you're asking here. Like,
yeah, in terms of like presentation, presenter,
anything? I guess, Shami, maybe we just show them the feedback form.
then have to go. Can you send me the link?
Oh, wait, I need to hold on. I also don't have the link off the top. Wait, I need to go and search for it. Drive.
Anything, yes. Okay, highlighted by users in the feedback. What is the key point highlighted by users in the feedback form?
Statistics. Let me get 2025.
Okay. Such as the content ORL. Okay, thank you.
Just to cut in for a bit, I think I've done a sweep of the chat earlier, and I don't think there are any questions at the top that we haven't answered. But if there's anything that we missed, maybe you can type it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to be sure.
Okay, wait, Shami, I'm gonna send you. This is the link for feedback form. Put in chat lah.
So pretty basic, we just ask which category that they belong to, unit code, if they have, for example, these are the unit codes, they are the usual unit codes here. If not, then they will just use either MTP or general library workshops at the bottom. What is this caption here? Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, results, but let's just show you the questions first. We try to keep it simple because we don't want to make it a hassle for people to give feedback. So it's only 5 questions. The first page is just details so we know which workshop they're providing feedback for. But the next page is the meat of it. So yeah, shall we just so this page is the questions that we ask. So we ask them whether the objectives were met, whether the content was relevant, whether delivery was good, whether the pacing is appropriate, and whether they would recommend the session to others. And that's basically all we're collecting. And then we provide 2 separate open-ended optional sections for them to give us whatever feedback they want. Not many students fill that in, but those that do usually have quite helpful feedback to share. So you want to see the results. Technically we can. Hold on. Oh wait, wrong one.
TJ?
No, I think they said they want to see the result of the feedback. So I guess we can show them the statistics really quickly. I'm looking for the response sheet. Most suggested point. There really isn't a lot of suggested points because the feedback, like I mentioned, generally is pretty good. We tend to have most students, 90%, more than 90% are happy with how the workshops are being run.
I mean, we do get comments regarding like presenters, like the for example, there are certain workshops that are quite like one-sided where it's just like people talking, so students might think that it's too draggy or like too time-consuming, the usual. So
yeah, I think the one point that is the hardest for us to score in is pacing. Pacing is very subjective. So some students will feel that it's too fast, some students will feel that it's too slow. So we tend to get dinged on that particular question the most.
Yeah, I always when I was first starting, not only in here but also in other institution, I always get in terms of my pacing for being talking too fast or mumble a lot. So yeah, so we do get comments for presenters.
Yeah, we always try to tell the participants, right, if we're talking too fast, please slow us down. But I think people are shy, so sometimes they don't say, and then at the end they just put that, oh, it's a bit too fast. We've also had certain feedback where certain workshops are too long. They will say that, oh, this workshop is too heavy, there's too much detail. So this is where we then maybe consider either simplifying the workshop or breaking it into chunks, like part 1, part 2, like I mentioned for one of the earlier questions.
Okay, thank you for the question. Do we have any more questions here? Here.
You're welcome.
All right. Are there any more questions? Chat. Yeah, I don't think there are any more questions. So, all right. So I think we can end the session early today. Yes, the recording will be uploaded in the IIUM Library's YouTube channel. So we will put that in the calendar once we've done that, and you can just check in the calendar. Okay, all right. You're welcome. Okay. All right. All right. So since there are no more questions, thank you very much, Ms. TJ and Mr. Shahmi, for the very informative session. And I listened to a webinar earlier this year about information literacy and library instruction. And I think even internationally, a lot of the problems that they have, especially is in terms of support. So I'm glad that a lot of people joined today, and hopefully we've learned something new to help us and our students as well. Okay. All right. So thank you to our speakers and thank you to our wonderful participants for today. We sincerely appreciate you taking your time to join today's sharing session. Okay, thanks again to our speakers. And a reminder for all IIUM staff, to record your attendance via I-attend. I think it will be shared again, the I-attend for all IIUM staff. And to all participants, please fill in the evaluation form for your e-certificates. And the evaluation form will be closed by 1 p.m. today. Okay, and if for the evaluation form, you can also check the calendar if you missed it here. So it will be open until 1 p.m. And a reminder as well that the second series of this sharing session with IIUM Library will be held tomorrow, Thursday, 10th of July at 10 a.m. So if you haven't registered yet, you can register using the QR code, and we hope to see you there. So again, thank you everyone. Let us end our session today with the recitation of Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-Asr. All right. Okay, have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Shahmi.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Hope you learned something. Hope it
Oh,
was
yes.
useful.
Learn a lot.
I really enjoyed today's session.
Very enjoyed the session.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Shahmi.
Thanks.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.